Hello and welcome to my Half Life Alyx. Is or will be. Chapter 3H. We're looking for bullets, medical stuff, and resin. You can hear the gunfire from the combine going after zombies and scavengers. We're just making sure we pick up all the bullets. If you would, look to the lower right hand corner of the video and press that subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything at all. The floating headphones is the developer commentary.
Combine. Russ, these guys have automatic weapons.
They're alien commandos. Of course they have automatic weapons. We'd have them too, but Combine weapons are gene-coded, so out of luck. Unless you find one that's unbonded, or you're open to some minor genetic modification.
I'm good, Russ. I'm just gonna roll with these genes that I've got.
We always introduce new enemies at a distance, and never while the player is under duress. Here, the player is able to observe the Combine soldiers killing some wandering zombies, giving the player an idea of how powerful the soldiers are, and how they might operate in combat. We located the Combine far enough away that it was plausible that they would not notice the player, but close enough that the player could choose to engage, but remain relatively safe from return fire.
Relatively safe. And be sure to look underneath the video to the far left and you'll see our YouTube channel, GFM_RDG, where there's over 1,300 more videos that you can watch. Save and save often. See, the Combine didn't know what direction we were shooting from. We're just looking for as much ammo and resin and all those things that we can find, because we're not in a hurry. Wish there was more shotgun shells though. Oh, shotgun shells. And YouTube allows you, as the viewer, to subscribe to 2,000 channels for free. So we just need one of those free subscriptions. Now we have 24. Still don't have enough. The bullet reservoir is what we need. I think we need 30. So we're not that close. Got 25. And you can look underneath the video in the description. You find ways to donate and join our Patreon.
The first encounter with a Combine soldier caused a number of issues in playtesting. The biggest one was that players were often surprised when the soldiers started shooting at them. Some players who were new to the Half Life series had no idea who these soldiers were. But it's also been hours of game time since players saw another human, and we found that many players weren't willing to immediately start shooting. Some players also wondered why Alyx moved so quickly to killing other humans. This area was designed to demonstrate that Combine soldiers are hostile and will attack on sight, giving the player a reason to want to shoot back. It starts with the dialogue preceding the encounter, where the player overhears the Combine discussing the problem of scavengers in the quarantine zone. Then, when the player finally achieves visual contact with their first Combine soldier, they witness that soldier in the process of executing a civilian scavenger.
3 shells left.
Since this is our first time play, we're going to listen to the commentary from the developers.
3 shells left. Out of shells.
Got plenty of health. Save and save often. Try to keep myself aligned where I'm setting. So he's got 2 syringes too. I'll wait till we lose a heart. Let's see where that other... Yep, it's right here. We don't have to use them. That was good.
Squad Soldier AI has been a mainstay of the Half Life series, so we were excited to see how their design would be impacted by the move to VR. Our early playtesting against a Half Life 2 Combine Soldier AI in VR immediately made a number of things clear. First, players did not like to be shot at, and often had a visceral negative response. The soldiers frequently ran at players at full speed, firing all the while, and we discovered that the speed of Half Life 2 combat was simply too overwhelming in VR. Also, players took longer to do everything in VR, especially the core action of spotting and aiming their weapon at an enemy while staying in cover. As a result, the soldiers tended to live much longer in VR than they did in Half-Life 2. It was clear from these early playtests that the most common reaction among players was to immediately seek cover from enemy fire. So we started experimenting with changes to the Soldier AI, aimed at building a combat experience around players' tendency to seek cover. Early experiments were focused on keeping Combine soldiers at a comfortable distance from the player, while keeping them moving around enough to not have combat become too static. To create lulls in firing for players to peek out from cover, we prevented soldiers from shooting while on the run in most cases. To keep players from remaining stationary, we created a concept of flushing, where squads will attempt to flush the player out of cover, and we gave each class of soldier a different method of flushing out the player. But even in these early tests, it was also clear that players weren't capable of fighting soldiers until they'd gotten skilled in a number of basic combat actions, like reloading their gun without having to focus all their attention on it. So we were careful to slowly introduce the various types of soldiers, and even individual features within the soldier classes. For example, these early fights against Combine soldiers only feature the basic grunts, and these particular grunts don't carry grenades. This means they don't actually have the capability to flush a player out of cover. We found it was important in these first fights to give players all the time they need to learn to use cover effectively, before we start introducing enemies that could try and flush them out.
I'm always hitting things with my controller because I have such a confined area. Yeah, I'd like to have that, those other rounds. I mean those, where the gun holds more. Another health station.
There's a control station override nearby.
Has to come this way. Okay, we killed that one, so how do we get to this one?
You should have plenty of time to get the override back online. Alright, I'll be able to stop the train right here.
You sure you can do that?
Absolutely. You just need to activate the terminal.
Nice.
Then you'll need to be ready for a fight. They're not going to give up your dad easily.
I'll be ready.
Right, that's the terminal there.
I'm on it.
Do hurry, though. Yeah, there must be a battery around here somewhere.
Last 4 shells.
Okay. I do appreciate you coming along, and hopefully you join us for the next video. And also, hopefully, you'll press that free subscribe, watch more of our videos, consider donating and joining our Patreon. So until the next video, thank you for watching. Goodbye.